Good morning and welcome back to my October wrap-up. Or welcome, because why would you have been here before? I read 13 books this month. I don't know my average rating, but I tried to be more selective with giving out 5 stars. It wasn't my greatest month of reading in terms of amount of books read because I spent the last 10 days of October traveling and I only read 2 books in the last 10 days of October. So not that much reading, but a lot of having fun and seeing family and doing things that are more important than reading. All right, so let's do this thing. The first book that I read this month is The Audacity of Hope by Obama. This was a 3-star read for me. All of his books are 3-star reads for me. Some I enjoyed a little bit more, some I enjoyed a little bit less, but I don't want to get into the 0.5s and the 0.25s. But yeah, that one was pretty spot on, the 3 stars. He wrote it when he was involved in politics, but not when he was very important in politics yet. So it was a good book. I enjoyed hearing his perspectives about what he wanted to achieve in office and what he thought would benefit the country, and then compare that to what he actually did and achieved. So that was cool. Next book I read was Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. This was a 4-star read for me. I enjoyed this book a lot, especially considering that my other experience with Malcolm Gladwell was The Tipping Point, which I enjoyed not even a little bit. But this one kept me interested. I enjoyed it. I feel like I learned some stuff as well. Do I remember what I learned? No. That people make irrational decisions based on small amounts of information, but sometimes they are the right decisions. That is pretty much summing up the book. The next book I read is Lovely Bones, or The Lovely Bones. I gave this is my first 5-star read of the month. I really, really enjoyed this book, and again, I had such low expectations, but I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in a day and a half, and it's not a small book. It's 327 pages, not a massive book, but a day and a half. I couldn't put it down. I wanted to know what happened and how it ended, so really enjoyed that. The next book that I read this month is If It Bleeds by Stephen King. This was a 4-star read for me because it's a collection of short stories and novellas, and so there's 4 of them, and some of them I would have rated 5 stars, some of them I would have rated 3 stars, so it averages out to 4-ish. I really enjoyed the If It Bleeds story in there because that goes back to the Mr. Mercedes universe and goes back to those characters, and I love them. I love them so very much. The next book that I read this month was What Happened by Hillary Clinton. 4-star read for me. I loved this book. There's so many things in here that I didn't know. It was actually close to being a 5-star read if it hadn't gotten a little out there in the last 5th or 6th of the book. I didn't enjoy that part, but the first part was really great, I thought, and I learned a lot about her and about my own how media has influenced my life and my perspective without me really realizing it, and I don't even live in America, so that was very interesting. The next book that I read was Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. I didn't give this book a rating because I don't believe in rating. Well, I say this, but I've also done it. I'm going to try to be better at rating true life stories, or of not rating true life stories that I didn't enjoy. So we'll just say that. This book wasn't what I was expecting. This, in my mind, is the go-to read for World War II perspective of a Jewish girl. And I feel like I've read books that give a much different perspective that I feel like should be more vastly consumed by the public than the Anne Frank book. But what do I know, really? Not much. So, not my favorite book. Next book that I finished this month, which was one of the goals for this month, is It by Stephen King. This monstrosity got 5 stars because it was awesome. It took me a while to get into it, but it's a short while considering that it's over 1,000 pages, and once I was into it, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't put it down. It was fantastic. Loved this, 5 stars. Really enjoyed that one. Next book that I read this month was The Twins of Auschwitz. This was a story that I had seen before because I've heard the perspective spoken by the author, which is Eva Moses Core. So I have seen her speak, so I kind of knew the perspective. I didn't realize that when I bought this book. Again, another book that I did not rate. So it was a good, if you want to get started with World War II stories, this is a very small, easy to read book that I would recommend. The next book that I read this month, Three Sisters by Heather Morris. Pre-ordered, got here on the day it was released. So happy I have this. I really enjoyed reading this. I only gave it 4 stars. Do I remember why? Because I gave it 5 stars. So 5 stars for The Three Sisters. I really enjoyed that book. It was really, really good. I enjoy Heather Morris's writing a lot, and I think I'm always going to appreciate her books because she was the one, because The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which is written by her, was the first book that I read about World War II. And since then, I've been reading a lot about it. I wouldn't say I'm addicted, but it feels very important and something that I really missed out on knowing. So she's the one that introduced me to that, so Heather Morris will always be special to me. Next book that I read this month is Letter to My Daughter by Maya Angelou. Do I rate this one? I'll tell you, I rated it 3 stars. It was a decent read. I didn't love it. Very short, very easy to read. Didn't hate it, but also it didn't affect me as much as it affects other people, I guess. Maybe there's something wrong with me. The next book that I read this month, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, with this beautiful copy. Beautiful, beautiful copy. I enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I would. I rated it 3 stars, but even though it's called Great Expectations, I had very low expectations. I was expecting a 1 or 2 star. The reason it's a 3 star is because if it was just the ending, it would have been maybe 4 or 5 stars. But you have to get through everything else to get to the ending, and I didn't enjoy that part of it. So it was hard to get through, but then the ending really came together. I really enjoyed that, and especially considering how long ago it was written, it's really impressive how much loose ends got tied up, you know? So yes, really enjoyed that one. The next book I read was Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I left that one in Greece. That was a 4-star read for me, his second book ever, so I enjoyed reading that. Considering his first book was Carrie, and I did not enjoy Carrie, and then I read Salem's Lot, I can see the growth already right there. Not that I know what growth looks like, but you know, I enjoyed it a lot more and I thought it was better written. So yeah, Salem's Lot was 4 stars. It's Stephen King's take on vampires, so that was enjoyable. Sorry, my camera stopped working or didn't save. Anyway, so it's the next day, and the last book that I read this month is The Guest List. So this one I rated a 3 star because this had so much potential, and it took me a lot longer to finish it than it would normally take me to finish a book that I was enjoying. So it took me like 4 or 5 sessions to finish this book, or 3 maybe, but those sessions were days apart because I had no desire or no pull to go and see how the story ended. And then even when it did end, it left a lot of questions and loose ends, in my opinion. So definitely not my favorite thriller, and I am a lover of thrillers. So that is my October wrap up, 13 books. It was a spooky month, and I enjoyed the books I read. So I tried to, read some scary things because it was October. So It and Salem's Lot, and then a lot of scary things humanity-wise through like what happened in World War II perspectives. Politically scary things, which are arguably more scary than ghosts and vampires and clowns. Well, I don't know, but maybe. So yeah, happy with the month of reading. Can't complain. I'm very lucky that I have the books that I have and the time that I have to finish all the books. So yeah, good month, and I'm very excited for November. Bye.